Constantine episode 9, The Saint of Last Resorts part 2. I definitely enjoyed this episode. I think it was a cool conclusion, like for it to be the mid-season premiere. It was technically the second part of the mid-season finale, so it was definitely cool. It was a great little cliffhanger at the end of the last episode, and we knew what was going to happen if you saw the preview, at least you did. And so that kind of gave away a little bit, but the entire episode of Constantine basically being possessed by this demon and trying to figure out how do I get it out, because it was really simple at first. Like, yeah, we just need this spell, maybe a couple of these things, some items, just get my bag, we'll be good. And then, of course, the demon kind of takes over and he, like, rips a guy's arm off and kills, like, 4 other people, too. And so he gets thrown into prison, and it kind of changes the entire plan. They have to find Constantine. They have to, do all this extra stuff now because they don't really know how to deal with things because, the whole timetable has been thrown off. But it was really cool. I really enjoyed the episode. I love seeing Constantine kind of put in a position where he didn't know exactly what to do. And he's been in that situation in some other episodes, especially in the first part to this, where he, especially at the end of the last episode, where it was like, I don't know how to escape this thing, and he's dealing with demons that are supposed to just not exist anymore anyway. So he's certainly been placed in those situations before. But in this, it was sort of just a real world type of thing, even though it sprouted because he was possessed by a demon. Of course, that's the only reason he ended up killing those people. But he's just in jail, and it's like, I can't really get out of here. He's getting screwed over in that aspect. The demons are actually working with some real world people, like they were working with the lawyer to keep him in prison and stuff. So it was just interesting to see the specific elements that were kind of coming up against him, because it was more of a real world thing compared to, oh, these demons are new and he doesn't know how to deal with them. It's just he killed some people and then he got thrown in jail like anyone else would. So I actually enjoyed that part of the episode. It was just an interesting dilemma that he never really had to deal with before. So I thought that was cool. I enjoyed getting to see Zed kind of escape her family. I kind of wish it lasted longer. I'm sure we'll get more than the upcoming episodes too, because she escaped and now they know exactly where she is. They can easily come back and get her anyway. But she was able to escape in this episode, and I'm mostly excited to see where that does go, because there's some things, like, since she knocked that one guy out, I assume he wasn't trying to kill her. Since she knocked him out, he knows where to go. He knows exactly what he can tell her father, like, okay, this is where she is. She still has the visions, because that was one of the things when she kind of woke up. The guy had to ask her because they didn't really know, so he can give her father that information, like, yeah, she still has visions, so this isn't a complete waste of our time. And they're going to have to kind of go up against, John and Chaz and whoever they may or may not try to recruit to help them. So it'll be interesting to see if that ends up being something that they choose for, like, maybe the finale. I don't know. We actually only have like 4 episodes left. 13 is the final episode, and I heard that they're still on the fence for a season 2. I really hope we get a season 2. I actually really love this show. I think, it's, the actors are really good. I enjoy just how crazy things get, and one of the big things is that it does get compared to Supernatural a lot, I think, because it's, mostly revolving around demons and stuff. And I was talking to my friend about this yesterday, that, they may talk about similar things, but Constantine goes, like, above and beyond with the demonic stuff. Like, Supernatural, I love the show, it's like my favorite show. Supernatural doesn't get too crazy with it. Like, it's never ultra gory and stuff like that. You rarely see stuff that's, like, incredibly insane. And Constantine, that's pretty much all you see. So even if it's the exact same story, it's going to be a very, very different experience. And I like that. Like we got in this episode with Constantine when he killed all those people, and he just woke up and it was simple. Like, I don't know where I am. And, he turns and there's like a gun in his face and he jumps, and then it's like, well, it's attached to an arm that's no longer attached to a body. And stuff like that. And when he killed those people and the blood kind of flowed under the door and stuff like that. I mean, they do that a lot in Supernatural, but, things like that, they get really gruesome with it. So that's what I really love about the show, and I do hope it gets a season 2. I like the characters, like I said. The characters themselves are good. The actors, play the characters well. And then, of course, with it being Constantine, it's a huge comic book, and it's one that I don't really know about. And a lot of people, I'm sure, don't, because Constantine, admittedly, really only has, like, the movie from a long time ago, and that's really about it. So he doesn't have, like, that visual medium as far as television goes, and this is a obviously the best way to do it, just have a TV show about Constantine. So I hope it does well, and the ratings kind of go up a little bit, and it gets greenlit for a season 2 because it's a great show, and kind of to get back into the episode and not just the series in general. This had some really great moments, and like I said, him being possessed by the demon was really cool, and him kind of having to fight against his demon, but it's so incredibly powerful that it kicks up the timetable even more compared to what he thought. Like, we'll have this much time, and even right after he said that, when he was with Chaz, the demon instantly took over, like right after that first moment, and knocked Chaz down and just took off, and then he got into a little fight and he killed 5 people. So it was really cool to see that sort of progression of this demon being so incredibly powerful. We got a little bit of backstory, of course, and how some of these demons, the Brujeria, they've kind of come back. They're a collection of demons and stuff, and they bring back other demons to kind of help them, like the serpent in this episode, which I thought was a really cool monster in this one. And the way it died looked really cool, where it just kind of burst into snakes and just poof, that was it. I don't know if it died or what. I'm pretty sure it did, but you never know. It could have that could have been its defense, like, oh, it looks like it died because it separated into all the snakes, but you never really know. So we'll have to kind of wait and see for that, and if it comes back, then it'll definitely be within these next couple episodes. But it was really cool, and we had to see a really hard goal, like them trying to save Constantine, where they did the first exorcism, and it was like, we might have to kill John, and the woman Anne Marie, who eventually felt guilty, like, I may or may not have screwed up in this case. She was like, he's supposed to have this very serious reaction to the holy water and stuff, and then they find out, later in the episode, it was kind of just a crappy place to do it, so they have like the right elements around them and stuff to actually do the exorcism. But it was really cool seeing them kind of deal with that, and they had to sneak into the prison just to do that, and then do some crazy stuff to sneak out of the prison. And I really loved those scenes. Both of those scenes were really, really funny to me. And that was probably my favorite moment in the episode, when Chaz went into the prison, and like Zed went in, and she just like did her hair up and like tied her shirt a little, and it was like, oh, she looks hot. She's like playing a prostitute. Real simple. And then Chaz goes up, and it's like he's this giant, just white guy, and he's just like, hey, Ola and stuff. I'm like, what is he doing? He's like, screw it. And he just punches the guy, and he just gets beat up. And then when Zed looks back, he's just like, and he's like smiling, and there's just blood in his mouth and stuff. I thought that was the funniest thing ever. And I love seeing that for his character, because it's really silly to me, and I just think it's so funny when he's like, he always has this plan, and he always seems to do the same thing, where it's like, I have an idea, but I can't die, so why don't I just punch this guy instead and just do something silly, and then I'll be in there much faster. So I thought that was a really funny moment. And then, of course, when they were leaving, Anne Marie had to do the bilocation thing and be naked and stuff, and I thought that was silly, and the guys are all distracted and stuff, and it's just silly stuff. So I enjoyed that. Like, it's like those silly light moments that are in there, and I feel like they mostly come from Chaz, because he can't die, so that always happens, where he has like a plan, and then it's like, I can't die, what do I care? And then he just, goes crazy about it. But I loved the episode. I thought it was really good. I thought them casting out the demon was very interesting. I don't know. It seemed really simple to me, and I've seen some other comments where people said that, like, maybe the demon tricked them. But it did seem that way to me, too. Like, they did it, and she said the spell and stuff, and then poof, it was gone. And I think the main thing that really caught my attention was that Constantine kind of just got right back up, and it was like, oh, like, quick recovery. He mentioned, like, he doesn't feel good or anything, so it kind of balanced it out after he said that to me. But when he first got up, I was like, oh, wow, that was like, boom, they cast it out, and he had like a super quick recovery. So he may or may not still be possessed. Like, you never know. It's a demon. It's like the king of the demons, as they put it. So we never really know, and of course, if he is still possessed, that'll, of course, come back to bite them all in the butt by the end of the episode, or by the end of the season. And I think if it is, it'll definitely come up because of Zed's people. Like, they'll come back and try to get her. Constantine and Chaz will jump in to help her out, and then, Chaz will get killed and then come back at some point in the episode. But when they attack Constantine, the demon will sort of reawaken. Like, it may be dormant right now. Like, okay, I have to relax, because all they'll do is just keep doing this stupid exorcism, and that's not going to help me kind of kill everybody. So when John's in real danger again, like he was in this episode, it'll kind of reawaken. Like, okay, I might get caught, but it's better than losing my vessel. So we'll wait. And there's, like I said, there's only 4 episodes. So if that is the case, we won't have to wait too long to see it. But I enjoyed this episode. I'm really excited for next week's episode because we finally get to see Chaz's daughter, because I knew that had to come into play at some point. So I'm really excited to meet his daughter and get to know about her, and also just the story behind it based on what the preview showed. It's going to be really intense. Like, Chaz basically considers selling his soul to save his daughter. So I'm excited for that episode. I think it'll be a good emotional episode, and plus it'll just be good to get backstory on Chaz. We have him just dying, which we don't really have any information on, and we have the fact that he has an ex-wife and a daughter, and that's really it. So I'm excited to get more info out of him. Of course, I hope it's not a complete waste and we get a season 2 so we can have even more information on this character. But I enjoyed this episode. I'm gonna enjoy the last 4 episodes, whether it's the final season, or I guess only season, or not. And of course, I'm sure, like you guys, I wanted to get a second season. I think it's doing a great job. I like this better than Gotham. Like, for me, it goes like Arrow, Flash, Constantine, and then Gotham. Maybe Flash before Arrow, because Flash is like really happy and stuff. I don't know. But I really like this show, and if it does do really well, they also mentioned the fact that Constantine could end up going into, some of the CW shows where they actually blend all those universes together and stuff. So if it does get a season 2 and beyond, it would be great because we would have even more cool stuff to experience in these shows where, Arrow comes to Constantine or Constantine goes to Flash and all this stuff. And, it'll just be great to see that, and I hope it gets it, of course. But I want to know what you guys thought about this episode. Of course, please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I would ask a question about the episode, but because we're in, these last 4 episodes and it's still kind of up in the air, I want to know what you guys have thought about Constantine so far. Like, have you enjoyed the show? Have you thought the depiction of Constantine was good? Some of the other characters was good? Like, what are some of your favorite references that they've done? Like, there's been the Dr. Fate helmet. It was in like the very first episode, I believe. Stuff like that. They had the Spectre. I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago. That I thought was pretty cool. I didn't know what it was, but someone told me, so it was like, oh, okay, the Spectre. And I know who the Spectre is. But I want to know what you guys think of Constantine so far. Please tell your friends if you like the show, so we can kind of get a second season and maybe get all the crazy stuff where he possibly ends up in a CW show or something. But I do want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So like I said, please comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.